Spiritual Conversations. It is episode 40, which we can't believe we've done this many. I'm Carrie Palmer from the Washington area, and my buddy Candace Anderson is in
Naples, Florida. And it's so funny, Carrie, as soon as you said episode 40, there was an orb that I saw flying behind you. We're going to be able to see those more easily because of your new black background. So we'll make sure we highlight that.
And I'm in the room where I spent all the time with my kitty. This is my bedroom I'm in. So I would not be surprised if she's just dancing all over the place. So the first thing I want to say, and this is really important, what we're going to be talking about may not mean anything to you, but I'm asking you right now to share this episode on your Facebook page, wherever you can, because there is somebody that's going to hear it that's going to need to hear it. So please share this episode and then share the other ones while you're at it. So we talk a lot about guidance because Lord knows we're all getting it all the time. And I've talked about my guidance, really out there random stuff. You know, when my mind is quiet, I got guidance to go buy canvas and paint. I'm like, what? I mean, guidance doesn't always make sense, but I do everything that it tells me, because every time I do, even though it seems wonky and so out of there, I do it, and then it takes me to the next place. A friend of mine went to Sedona, Arizona for the first time, and she lives in
love
Michigan.
That place.
Oh, I have not gone, but I'm going now. She lives in Michigan, so it's a big extreme. You know, Michigan is cold, and she goes to Sedona. And Sedona is a vortex. It's one of those places where it's like everybody on the planet, spiritual people, want to go there, because it definitely, even if you're not, I've read, it's like it can bring you to seeing and hearing things differently. So if you are thinking about spirituality, it sounds like a good place to go. So she is doing really good about listening to guidance. So with two of my friends are there together. I was going to go, but my daughter came to town, so I couldn't join them. So they go on a hike, and they walk for 2 miles, and they get to where there's this really big hill or mountain up ahead. And my friend's like, she didn't have the right equipment. She didn't have the shoes, anything. So she goes, I'm just going to chill right here. You know, you can go do whatever. And then the other girl, she's like, well, let's get going. She goes, you know what? I'm not going. I can't leave yet. She goes, why? Because there's a guy up there. Says, see that guy with a red shirt on with a guitar? I have to wait till he comes down. And the other girl said, why? She goes, don't ask me. I just have to. So this went on for a while. So they're waiting and waiting. And finally the guy comes down. So she gets up and she starts walking with him. And she's like, hey. He's like, hey. She goes, I had to wait for you. He goes, oh, okay. So anyway, they're walking and talking. And he was like the Pied Piper. All these people end up start coming behind this guy.
Wow.
And so they're walking with him. And I don't know how far they walked. So they walk and walk. And all of a sudden they get to this place where the other girl wanted to go, but she had no idea how to get there, like some arches or something.
Right.
So he took them up to the arches, and they like spent the afternoon in this amazing area that they hoped to find. They had no idea how to find it. It was just like blissful. It was like, thank goodness I listened to guidance. We found this place. So it was heavenly. So that was day one. So the next day they went to another place, and they were just kind of hanging out. And all of a sudden she had this knowing that there was a person sitting on the side of the mountain. She's like, I have to go hold his hand. And the other girl's like, what are you talking about? She goes, I don't know. I just have to go do it. So she went over there and she goes, hi. And she said, I need to hold your hand. She grabbed his hand, and she's sitting there holding his hand, and just like they're sitting there silently, and she's holding his hand and squeezing his hand. So what is interesting about this is the day she's telling me this, I had just listened to a brand new book I've been listening to. It's Laura Lynn Jackson's second book. I asked my pendulum which one of my books did I want to listen to as I was driving down to the Oregon coast recently. And I didn't finish it. So I was listening to it that day on my way to work. And in that book, Laura Lynn Jackson talks about a story about somebody who, it's all about these stories in her book. One of her clients was on a mountaintop, and they saw a person there, and they had this overwhelming urge that I need to go give that person a hug. So they sat down and they hugged that person, and they embraced tight. And then they sat there in silence. And then that person said, I'm so grateful you were here, because I was going to jump. They were going to end their life. So my friend goes over and she sits there and she holds this man's hand. And then she's like, I'm good. And so she lets it go, and she goes off and just takes off. She doesn't know why. She has no thought about it. And then the other friend says, he's bawling. Look at that guy's crying. And I mean, I'm just like, honey, I said, I think you might have saved somebody's life. I
Right.
said, I honestly think we ask for signs, and this person, whoever they are, and there's these persons all over the planet, they are asking for signs. They're
Yes.
asking for guidance, and they're saying, please, to their mother, to somebody who's passed, if I'm not supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do this, whatever it is, please send me a sign, or please, I want to hold somebody's hand, whatever it is. So there are so many people out
It-
here that are not spiritual. There are people like I was not before, but I would always, even all my life, when I didn't know anything about higher consciousness, I received guidance and it saved my life so many times. When I was
mhm.
very young, my dad said, come with me to Blue Diamond. And I loved going to Blue Diamond, but I said, no. He's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. I really wanted to go. And my friend was in Blue Diamond,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't go. On the way home,
Yeah,
he
what
wrapped the
happened?
car around a telephone pole and the passenger side was completely caved in.
Right.
And but so I've received guidance all my life and I listen to it. So there are people that they might hear stuff that they just think it's so out there that they don't act on it. That's why I want you to share this because people are getting little nudges and they don't make sense. If think about it. If you get a little nudge and it doesn't make sense, you didn't think it. You know you didn't think it.
Exactly.
You didn't think
Exactly.
that thought.
When that nudge comes in and you know it wasn't from you, then take a moment to take a deep breath and realize, what is this? Is
Yeah.
this a nudge from guidance? Is this a nudge from my angels? And,
Yes.
that's what it is. I'm hearing you tell that story about, you decided not to go to, what did you say, Blue Diamond?
Blue Diamond is a little town outside of Las Vegas, yeah.
Oh, and what a beautiful name. Who, who
Yeah.
wouldn't want to go to Blue Diamond? But
Exactly.
but look what might have happened. You know,
Yeah.
I can remember once back when I was in high school, I had horses and I kept them on pasture, but every once in a while I would bring them into a local barn and I would keep them there. And the horses were like two or three blocks away from where I think I was in junior high school, and all of my friends that had horses brought them all in so that we could go and ride right after school. It was actually the last week of school and we were having exams, so we were out half a day. And I just said, no, I can't. And I lied. I don't know why I did that. I lied and said, oh, my parents won't let me. Well, there was no reason for me not to bring my horses in so I could ride them every day after school. But what happened during that next couple days, the barn caught on fire and all the horses died. My horse would have died. You don't have
Yep.
to put this in.
Oh, we're putting this in because
But
because you had guidance. And when
I
you're young like that, you lied because you didn't know how to justify it.
because
It just you felt off.
yeah, you don't know how to explain it. You don't
Yeah.
know why you didn't want to do something. But
Because people
that's
don't honor you like we would in this case. It's like your friends would say, "Oh, we understand you don't want to for whatever. We honor that." Then it was just like you had to make up a lie because we didn't know anything different.
right. And that's what happens when we are confronted with something that's new. If you're not used to having these energies around you of guidance, then it's like, I don't have any information to react to. There are no files in my brain that say, oh, this is what you do. This is guidance. Tell your friends, oh no, I'm getting guidance from an angel that says our horses don't need to be in a barn that day. No,
Right.
you don't know. So as a teenager, it's like you make it up and no, my parents won't let me,
Yeah.
that's it. We're not going to talk anymore. But
Wow.
what you're describing is this beautiful guidance that these people trusted, and she didn't even know to trust it. She
And she
just
never
knew.
questions it. Never questions it. She's like, "All right." She's like, "All righty then. All righty then. Whatever it is. All righty, I'll do it."
You never know when the roles will be reversed and you become the angel or the guide for someone else and you change their lives. That's the beauty of synchronicities and coincidences. By following guidance, you become a pivotal point for someone else, and you can actually change their lives.
Yes,
Trust him.
yes. I know we all get guidance all the time, like I said, because that whole
Right.
thing about not going to Blue Diamond, I would have gone any single time. It was made no sense to me that I didn't want to, and I regretted not going the whole time, and I didn't go. But then I realized why. So just know there's something bigger than you that's trying to tell you what you need to do, and it's got a reason behind it. And the whole
Right.
thing is you just never know. Listen to it because it's going to take you to something else that's going to maybe make more sense.
Right.
But like when they looked up and saw this man crying, it's like, and I told her, I don't even know if she realized it. I said, I think you saved his life because I had just
Right.
read it in the book then. I said, you held his hand, you made contact with him. He's been asking for something. He probably asked for a sign. And
Right.
this strange woman from Michigan walks over, sits down next to him, and holds his hand. I'm like, girl, you saved a life. And she just like, all right. I mean, it's like she'll do it again because she's that person. So share this, tell your friends, tell anybody when you get weird and it's like a song in your head, it's a message, it's like a download, it's just a
Mhm.
weird feeling. There's so many ways to get it. A billboard, something that resonates like that means something to me.
Right.
It does. It does.
It
Trust it,
Pay
act
attention,
on it.
act
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. When she told me that story, I was just like, I mean, but here I've never been to Sedona. I've been to Arizona. But since then, you can bet I've been looking at bed and breakfast. I've been looking at cabins. Like I'm gonna probably take a week and go to Sedona because I want to keep writing and writing. And I have a feeling the magic of that place might just make the words flow right through me.
Oh, great.
Might,
Great.
yeah. We'll have to do some episodes when I'm in Sedona. That would be
Oh,
fun.
that would be
Orbs.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing this. What a beautiful message for people to know that there is guidance all around. Just embrace it, accept it, go with it because you never know whose life you might be affecting.
Yeah. And don't worry about what people like, she was told to hold somebody's hand. Most people, and that's the thing, as humans, we have these like egos and this stuff we have to keep in check. I can go
Right.
hold his hand. I'm with my boyfriend, whatever. None of that matters. You get guidance, something like that, like to go give somebody a hug that you've never met. There
Do it.
is a
Yeah.
really strong reason for it. But just even a little guidance, if you follow it, it's taking you down a path. And so it's for your best interest every single time to follow
Right.
guidance. Every single time. We'll never let ourselves down. I can guarantee you that.
Absolutely. Very good. Well, thank you. This is a great place for us to end.
Yes.
What a
So
beautiful message, Carrie. Thank you so much for sharing that with all of
my
us.
pleasure. I'm so glad my friend shared the story. So share this, please, and make sure you listen to your own guidance because it's not your voice talking to you and it's telling you something you really do need to hear. So
That's
thank
right.
you so much, people. Until next time.
Bye. Subscribe.
Bye.